Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, can you hear me? Oh, ka pai, thank you. I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā kārangatanga tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui, ngā mihi aroha ki a koutou. Well, firstly, thank you very much for the opportunity to zoom in, the wonders of technology. I'm very sorry that I can't be there today. We're actually in Dunedin. I'm the chair of the Māori Expert Advisory Group, which supports the Health and Disability Systems Review Panel. And we've got our third wānanga on today in Dunedin, so that's where I am, but I'm very pleased to be able to zoom into you. Look, I'm going to talk a little bit about our role in terms of the Health and Disability System Review, explain to you who we are and what we do. So I'm just going to share a PowerPoint here. Let's see if I can do that. And I think you had some of my colleagues on before, Lloyd and Therese. Right, can you guys see that PowerPoint? I just can't hear is it on the screen? Should I keep going? Sorry, I can't hear if it's on the screen or not.
Kia ora, Sharon. It's Sarah Doherty. I'm speaking through the microphone so you can hear us. Is that
Yes.
correct? Oh, good. Could you pull the slides up and use the full slideshow function?
Sure can, thank you.
Yeah, we can see the slides and we can hear
awesome.
you very well.
Oh gosh, I was
Kia ora,
just about to break out with a joke then.
Thank you.
I do have a bit of a reputation about good. No, actually they're not good, but anyway, I still like to have a bit of a joke every now and again. Okay, so let me just tell you about I think you already know about the system review, so I'm not going to go into any great detail about some of that content, but I just want to confirm that we've got some excellent people on the expert panel, and you were talking with Lloyd before, which is fantastic, and obviously Heather is the chair. From a Māori perspective, Shelly Campbell is on the panel. Many of you will know Shelley. She's the CE of the Waikato Cancer Society, a fantastic person, and you can see also the calibre of the panel members. MEAG is the acronym for the Māori Expert Advisory Group. Yes, we do have to have another acronym. I'm the chair, but again, you know, we've got some fantastic people on there. So TC, or Terry Ann Clark, is a nurse from up north. She works in a PHR environment, but also is an esteemed academic. And she's rolling out the New Zealand Youth Survey this year. Takutai Moana Natasha Kemp is a CEO of a very innovative Māori youth organisation, and she's based in Tamaki Makaurau, or South Auckland. Dale Bramley, you may know, he's the CEO of Waitemata DHB. I understand he's the first Māori CEO of the DHB. Linda Ngata is a GM of an innovative urban-based marae in Christchurch, delivering a wide range of services. And of course, Sue Kringle, practicing GP, been around for a long time, completely dedicated to Māori health, and is also a widely known Māori academic as well. So that's who we are. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of things about the review in terms of reference from the Māori perspective. So when the panel was appointed, they were asked by the Minister to focus on several things. Performance of the future health system. So remembering that, I know that John was talking to you about the current state. Well, we're looking at the future state. So in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, you know, what does the optimal performance of the best possible health and disability system look like? And from my perspective as chairing MEAG, we're asking those questions within the context of what does it look like for Māori. what does the best possible structure look like? What does sustainability look like? And of course, what does equity look like? And associated with equity is improving Māori health outcomes. And the opportunity we think here in terms of the report is a chance to influence what does good look like with respect to the implementation recommendations. So that's what we're really focused on. And as John mentioned, he talked about he kura wai ora the New Zealand health strategy. We're leveraging off those existing strategies, we're taking those into account, but our lens is a future lens, and what does good look like in the next 5 to 10 years. Just for a bit of context, I'm sorry I don't know what you've talked about to date, but I just wanted to mention that based on the available evidence, health care in its own right contributes to around about 20% of overall health and well-being. And then of course you've got these other factors, so 30% is attributable or related to health behaviours, 10% to our physical environment, and then the rest is associated with our socio-economic factors. And for us in MEAG, we incorporate into that cultural factors as well. So although healthcare is around about 20% of the influence, we still know that that's 20% and we have to do the best that we can do. But of course we, and I know I'm talking to the converted, talk about the intersectoral approach as well. Just in terms of some other contextual issues before I talk about some priorities for MEAG, our population will continue to grow as Māori. By about 2038, 2040, all things considered, will be around 18% of the population. We'll still have a youthful age structure, but also our older population will grow. So again, what does the youth, what does the older population, what does the change in cohorts look like and mean for our future system? Some good news also is that life expectancy for Māori has improved over the last 60 years. And that's great. And in fact, it has improved more rapidly for Māori than for non-Māori. So the life expectancy gap is narrowing. And just here's some figures associated with that, which you can read. So that's good news. The life expectancy gap is narrowing, but it's not narrowing at the pace where we would be able to eliminate the life expectancy gap totally. So all things considered, by 2040, when we look to the future, we'll still have around about a 6-year gap if we don't do something differently and create and design a system that's going to make an even bigger difference to whānau. So we need to do something differently. So I just want to talk about 4 key points and then I'll wrap up and take some questions. So whole system. So the purpose of the review, the systems review, is to look at the whole system. So as a MEAG advisory group, we are looking at the whole system with the panel. So we're looking at things like governance, leadership, accountability, the future role of TDT, all those types of things. And as you'll understand, it's big, it's complex, but we have a role to play as MEAG in terms of bringing the Māori specificity to the whole system review. But one of the things that we think we need to do, which is really critical because we live in Aotearoa, is to actually identify, well, what's the point of difference in the most optimal future health and disability system in Aotearoa, situated in where we're living in New Zealand. What are those points of difference that will enable us to make the difference? So what is the role of Mātauranga Māori, for example? What is the role of Māori workforce development? What is the role of Māori providers? Sustainability, scale, performance. What is the role of non-Māori providers? All those types of things. Mana motuhake, I think, I don't know, John, I think you referred to that, sorry, tino rangatiratanga. Māori values, what does that mean? What are the points of difference moving forward? And we're putting in a deep dive, if you like, into that space. But I also want to talk about 2 other points and then I'll wrap up. So one is shifting the discourse. So I think, John, you used the word discourse as well. So one of the things that we're thinking about overall in the system is, look, if we shift the discourse about Māori health, we shift the thinking. If we shift the thinking, we're more likely to shift the practice. So this is some of the kōrero, I think, that we need to be really careful about. How do we talk about, and then how do we frame, and how does that framing enable us to move forward with integrity? So shifting the discourse in terms of this review is really important from our perspective, and I value yours. So let me give you a couple of examples. Why in 2019 are we saying whānau are hard to reach, when in fact isn't it the system that's hard to access? Why in 2019 are we talking about whānau did not intend, when in fact isn't the issue that the system did not respond? And why in 2019 are we still having to battle with respect to the place of Mātauranga Māori as a partner in health system delivery, whereas, you know, some are still seeing it as an anathema? You know, it's just not on. And just to wrap up, I want to talk about another high-level kōrero, which is designer bias. And Lloyd knows all about this, so there's a lot of, in a positive way, so there's a lot of kōrero about designer bias. So we're all designers, you know, we're getting into designing the system, the service, whatever. In the IT space, they talk about designer bias linked to algorithms, you know, machine learning, all that kind of stuff. So on the one hand, we could use innovative technology and we can blind the practical application of that technology to ethnicity. So it could help us overcome racism in decision making, for example, because the technology is blind to ethnicity. However, somebody, a human or humans, actually has to design the algorithm or the technology. And sometimes what happens is that our bias, and in this case, let's talk about racism, can influence the design of the product. So we have to be really acutely aware of designer bias. Now we've got an opportunity here to review, to redesign the health system for the future, but we have to make sure that we don't have any designer bias or we mitigate against that. And the ultimate designer bias, excuse me, and I'm in a room that's next to another room that's got a dryer in it and it's lunchtime, is that we don't want a monocultural lens on the design of the future health system, because we'll just replicate some of the issues that we have now. Anyway, so we're looking at that. So I'm going to stop now because I know you're busy. I'm probably pre-lunch, so that will be, you'll be looking at your clocks by now saying, come on, when's she going to stop? So I'll end there, but ngā mihi nui, I apologise I can't be there face to face, but rest assured that we're talking to some great people here in Dunedin for our third wānanga as an input into the Health and Disability System Review. There'll be more opportunity to contribute, and I look forward to talking to your NGO secretariat or panel, so we might be able to engage further on this kaupapa. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora, Sharon. We've got time now for 2 questions. We are running a bit over time, but we've sorted the afternoon. There's time for 2 questions, but Sharon can only hear through the microphone. So Sonia and Jason are going to have the microphones, so first in, first served.
I take compliments as well.
Kia ora, Sharon, that was wonderful.
Kia ora. Thank you, dear. You're my new best mate.
Kia ora. My question is, as the expert panel, what's your role in reviewing the review panel's final report? and you have right of veto?
Yeah, kia ora. So our role as the MEAG is to advise the panel. We don't have a formal right of veto. The accountability sits with the panel. They established us to provide that Māori specific advice.
Okay. He mihi nui kia Sharon. I am sure I speak on behalf of the forum in thanking you and also your team from the Māori Expert Advisory Group representing Māori on the Health and Disability System Review. It is with great respect that we acknowledge and recognise that the current system is not easy to navigate and is not meeting our people's needs.
Ai, tika.
There will be lots of challenges as you work through the systems of access and delivery of health and disability to Māori as you do this through Māori lenses. We look forward to the recommendations in the future, which hopefully will improve the inequity of outcomes for Māori. Ka whakawhetai anō ahau. Kia ora.
Kia ora, tika tēnā.